I asked Dan this more broadly, but maybe specific to Jared. Urgency's just been the word of the week here. We all understand what's at stake.
Sure.
How does urgency show up for Jared in a week like this?
It's a big week, obviously, considering where we're at. The version of Jared that we get is urgent all the time. And regardless of record or where we're at, what's happening outside the building with other teams, boy, he's a pro and approaches this job as such. He every walkthrough, every meeting, every practice, man, he's really dialed in. And so that urgency is consistent coming from that player.
I know you would never make excuses, and nor would he, but there is a challenge with losing Sam Laporta and potentially losing Amon St. Brown, or losing him for at least the duration of a game. How difficult is that as a quarterback to lose your top two targets, your favorite targets?
It's difficult, but you go forward. You won't, getting back to our quarterback, you won't hear him complaining. And it's part of the game. It's unfortunate. And but you keep pressing on, and you have to spend more time on the practice field with those players that you really don't have a lot of time on task with, and Jared's done that, which has been good. And we have to be real smart about how we put those players in those positions and give them a chance to succeed. But yeah, obviously it's tough.
Isaac play a bigger role than ever last week, obviously, with St. Al. I know he's not under your purview, but from a former quarterback's perspective, what would you appreciate most about throwing to Isaac TeSlaa?
Everything. He has very good hands, and he's big target, which is huge. It's important to him. He's young. He's going to make mistakes, but out there, he's just a young kid trying to get better and better, and he's learning. He's getting coached very well by Scottie, and the kid's got a bright future. He's a very talented kid, and I think he's only going to get better, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there, which might be his best quality, so meaning block. He's been great, and it'd be fun to see how his career plays out, because I think he's going to be a real good one here for a long time.
Have to rely on J-Mo a little bit more again, like you did last week. Where have you seen that relationship with him and Goff grow the most, maybe over the past year?
It's a Jared question, but just again getting back to the time on task. J-Mo's he's explosive, he's dynamic, he's fast, he's got it all, and there's another player that's only going to get better. And the more time those guys spend together, the better it's going to be, much like you see with Jared and Saint. But it's been fun to watch, and he stepped up last week. We'll need him to step up this week, and he certainly can answer the call when it comes to that. He's a great kid, a talented kid. He doesn't even know how good he is, but he's fun to watch, and he's obviously taking a bigger role for us, and probably will on Thursday.
Jared had 5 passes batted down against the Eagles. They said that it was an arm angle.
That's what it was, huh? Arm angle? Yeah, we've been working on that. That's probably my fault. His arm angle was off.
Was there anything?
No. Silly.
I know a lot of things have to go right for a deep shot to even be attempted, but if you look at Jared's stats, his average intended yards are lowest of his career, taking fewer deep shots than pretty much anyone else in the league. Are the opportunities there just not happening, or? I'm
not familiar with the stat. I haven't seen that. Listen, we're always trying to push the ball down the field and take advantage of the secondary and what it is presenting us. And sometimes that doesn't exist. When you have a J-Mo and you have a Leaf and you have guys that can stretch the field and get down the field, you've got TeSlaa, guys like that. They understand. They'd rather keep everything in front of you, and that's not an excuse. But I can tell you, every week we are looking for what we call explosives, big passes down the field, and sometimes they present themselves, sometimes they don't. But it is something that's important to us and that we're always in pursuit of.
How does that have to do with also some of the pressure that he's faced? I mean, interior pressure.
No, no, I don't think so. I think our quarterback does a very good job versus pressure. Pressure, the way we look at it, is not a bad thing. They could bring 4, 5, 6, or 7. There are opportunities for us, and our quarterback is very poised, and he's very smart in getting us in the right protection. Listen, if you want to bring 5, there's only 6 guys back there. You want to bring 6, there's only 5 guys back there. So please, come on. We love it, with our guys, and our running backs block well. Our offensive line does a good job. Our receivers separate. So, we're going to get some pressure, and we understand why, but we feel very confident when that does happen that our quarterback's going to go to the right place with the ball. I've been real proud of him, how he's handled all of that. He's very poised, gets us in the right play, and has a lot of trust in the guys around him.
Mark, this team hasn't lost back-to-back games in more than 3 years. You've been in the building.
I saw that. It's pretty cool.
You've been in the building for a while now. Been in a lot of buildings around the NFL. What's unique about this one or this team that makes it so resilient after losses?
Well, I think it's not just this team, but it's last year's team and the previous. And I think it starts with our head coach. I think what I appreciate about him is that when we have a tough loss, we watch the tape, we correct the mistakes, and we move on to the next one. And I think he does a very good job of being able to put a loss away and just start going forward to the next one. That's not always the case with some coaches, and at least that's my experience. So I think his approach and has been really good for us. And really it comes down to that. And we have really good guys. We have hardworking guys. It's important to them. They have a lot of pride, and there's a lot of mental toughness there. So all the things you look for, the qualities you look for in a team that really makes a team, our guys possess those qualities, which is great. And it has everything to do with how we can bounce back and why we bounce back from difficult losses.
Thanks, guys.
All right, enjoyed it. Have a good afternoon.
All right, good to be back in the building. Tough last performance. Of course, didn't quite come out the way that we wanted to come out. And the other piece to it is that the elephant in the room is Saint did go down, but it did give guys an opportunity to step into roles that they hadn't done. I mean, Tesla had to go into a role that he hadn't practiced at all, and kind of got bursted into that role. And then luckily we had TK up for a deal that he really stopped a lot of the leakage in a lot of spots. You just can't see it because it looks like he's playing one position, but he's playing multiple positions. So really appreciative of him. Thought he played really well. And then J-Mo, just really starting to, all of it starting to come together for him. Would like to play 100% game, didn't quite do that. But we know that he's worked really hard to earn our trust more and more. There's been things that come up, of course, like they always do, but we felt like in this offseason that he would start to take that turn. And with Saint going down, a guy that I would have to say really stepped in and played at probably one of the highest levels he's played at since I've been here, all around, blocking, down the field, run after catch. I thought J-Mo did a really good job in this game, outside of a few plays here and there. So we're just really, really looking forward to getting going this week. One of the things about having, Saint in practice is that you do everything kind of directed around him and how you place him and move him. So a lot of our guys, especially TK, with allowed a lot of practice time, was able to go in and fill in those spots. But this week, a little bit different because we know that he hadn't practiced as much. Now we can practice multiple people in multiple spots. And it gives us a little bit of flexibility. Unlike the non-flexibility that you have when you're in the game, you have to adjust in game. So looking forward to see some of these guys make a few plays and guys practicing the positions that they're actually going to play at.
Obviously, you would prefer to have Saint, but is there a silver lining here with Isaac? I mean, that was a quarter of his season snap load, and it seems like experience. There's no better teacher. So how good is this for him to get these extra snaps in these different roles to maybe accelerate the learning curve for him?
I think it does accelerate a lot of things as far as learning is concerned, but one of the things that's the best teacher and experience connected is when you actually are practicing in that role. You're practicing the details, the fundamentals, everything that goes with where you're aligned at, who you're aligned with, and then all of a sudden you get in the game, you actually go out there and you get to do it the way that you practiced it. So this will be a good test for him. We're looking forward to seeing how he comes out and performs. He's as physical as we thought he would be. He's done a lot of things, but now this is the last piece. He has to go out and play and get the experience. There's always, things that we know on the inside from watching practice, and the reason why we bring guys along at the level that we bring them along at, so when they get in the games, they're able to go out and function at a high level.
Saints return is a medical decision, not you, but do you need to see something from him or hear something from him, or how do you sort of decide when he's ready to handle the full workload that he had?
Yeah, he can walk up to me. Thursday at 7:59, and right after we warm up. Right after we come in from warm-ups, and he was like, "I'm ready to go." I think that's plenty of time outside of our inability to change the active-inactive list at that time.
Scottie, Dan was mentioning just the rising confidence that J-Mo seems to be playing with, especially when he has a day like he had last Thursday. In your eyes, how does that confidence manifest itself on the field in his play?
So, yeah, no doubt he's playing at a better level than he's played once he's been here in certain times, but the bridge to greatness is consistency. So we can talk about the confidence part of it. Right now, what we have to drive is the way that you get to the level of greatness is really, you have to get to a point of where every single play is made. Every single block is made. And the reason why we talk about the greats now, if you go back and look at some of those old tapes of the really great receivers, it's hard to even believe that how many plays that, Jerry Rice made, like back to back to back, and then games of consecutive greatness. And right now, a lot of times with all the social media and everything that we have, you can kind of create a highlight for your year, even though you don't play collectively the whole year. Well, back then, you had a body of work and people watching it on television, and you had to bring people back and draw them in. So I think he is playing with a lot more confidence. Confidence plus consistency, greatness. That's what we want to see. That's what we need to see, and he's been working really hard at that.
Outside of
Guys, time for some more, please.
telling him to maybe get the first down if he catches the ball short of the sticks or whatever, is there anything that you, coach him on after he gets the ball in his hands in terms of where he's trying to go? Like, are you coaching him to look for the end zone every time, no matter where he is?
We're absolutely looking for the end zone, but there are certain paths and angles that you are choosing to get to the end zone. Sometimes when you go lateral for 40 yards and then you go vertical for 10, that's maybe not the angle that we want you to go to the end zone on, but there may not be an angle to go on how we're coaching. But one thing that we talk about after the catch and getting to the end zone, the first thing is ball security. We got to continue to improve his ball security, making sure the ball is on the outside arm. And in a couple of those situations, ball was on the inside arm. If you get the ball on the outside arm, now you can protect yourself with an offhand weapon, which gives you another chance to make someone miss, which will extend the play. So those are the things that we try to focus on, those details that people kind of miss. Oh, he's running the ball. That's a great run. Well, it could have been an even better run. Maybe if we had that ball on the outside arm, person comes in to tackle me in the lower legs, I can get them off my legs and now create maybe 5 to 10 more yards.
Coach, it's not a football question at all, but y'all got the Temptations performing at halftime this Thursday. What do you think about the organization tapping into the history of Motown and just bringing some of these Detroit acts? I know you locked in on your job, but what do you think about that at all?
Man, I love it. I think the only thing is it's starting to cost me even more and more tickets because all of my family members now, once they hear who's performing, my son was definitely fired up last week. Just hearing the Eminem was going to be there, but now we're tapping into Motown. Of course, now uncles, aunts, everybody's lined up. I told them I don't have any halftime passes. Like you come to see the game, but we're really excited, man. But it's a big deal, and not only about the city, but not just here for the people in the city, but the people outside of the city getting to really see what this city is all about, what it was built on, and why it's so special, why people walk around Detroit with the amount of pride that they have, the amount of style, the amount of swag. It's a long history of greatness here. Thanks, guys.